In 1947, Citroën released a vehicle so undeniably hideous that the public immediately nicknamed it the Pignose. It looked like a corrugated garden shed on wheels, yet this strange box was hiding a secret engineering breakthrough borrowed from world-class fighter planes. While every other manufacturer was chasing sleek curves and chrome, Citroën was betting everything on a radical design that broke every rule of transport. Most people thought it was a mechanical joke, but it would soon become the most indispensable tool for a nation struggling to survive. This is the story of how the world's ugliest van became an immortal icon. The landscape of 1947 Europe wasn't filled with the gleaming chrome dreams of the future, but with the jagged scars of a brutal war. In France, the government enacted the Plan Ponce, a ruthless mandate that dictated exactly what every car manufacturer was allowed to build. Steel, rubber, and fuel were more precious than gold, meaning luxury was effectively illegal for the common citizen. Small business owners, from village bakers to mountain farmers, were struggling with pre-war trucks that were too heavy, too thirsty, and completely impractical for a rebuilding nation. They didn't need a status symbol. They needed a tool as rugged as a mountain goat and as cheap as a loaf of bread. This desperate environment forced Citroën to stop thinking about aesthetics and start thinking about pure, unfiltered survival. When Pierre Boulanger and his engineering team at Citroën looked at the commercial market, they saw a sea of outdated designs that were essentially wooden boxes bolted onto heavy passenger car frames. They realized that to truly innovate, they had to stop modifying cars and start building a dedicated workhorse from the ground up. The design brief was deceptively simple, but technically agonizing. It had to carry 200 kilograms of cargo, while remaining affordable for the average village tradesman. This meant every ounce of unnecessary weight had to be stripped away, leaving only the bare essentials of a machine. Instead of following the herd, the team decided to throw away the automotive rulebook and rethink the very anatomy of what a van should be. This wasn't just a new model, it was a radical departure from every commercial vehicle that had ever existed. The secret to the Type H's dominance lay in its radical front-wheel drive layout, a rarity for the 1940s. By cramming the engine, gearbox, and drivetrain entirely into the front of the vehicle, Citroën liberated the entire rear for cargo. This engineering magic trick meant the floor sat just 35 centimeters off the ground, creating a cavernous, low-slung interior. For the first time in history, a delivery driver didn't have to climb a ladder or struggle with a high-mounted truck bed to reach his goods. He simply stepped inside, saving hours of back-breaking labor over a single work week. This ergonomic breakthrough didn't just make the van easier to use, it laid the foundation for every modern commercial vehicle we see on the road today. The most striking feature of the Type H isn't its shape, but its skin, which looks more like a shipping container than a classic car. This wasn't a design choice for style. It was a stroke of structural genius borrowed directly from the aviation industry. Citroën's engineers looked at the Junkers Ju-52, a legendary transport aircraft, and realized that folding thin steel into ridges provided incredible rigidity without needing a heavy internal frame. This corrugated approach allowed the van to be remarkably light while remaining strong enough to haul over a ton of cargo. In a post-war era where every kilogram of steel was strictly rationed, this tin can look was actually a mathematical triumph of strength-to-weight ratio. It was a vehicle built with the soul of a bomber, designed to endure the roughest roads in Europe. If you ever walk around a Type H with a tape measure, you'll discover a bizarre mechanical secret. The wheelbase is actually different on each side. To save space and ensure a perfectly flat cargo floor, Citroën's engineers used independent torsion bar suspension on all four wheels. However, the rear torsion bars were so long that they couldn't be placed side by side without raising the floor and ruining the van's utility. Their solution was as eccentric as the van itself. They simply mounted one rear wheel slightly further forward than the other. This strange asymmetry meant the left side of the van was physically longer than the right, a glitch that would be unthinkable in modern car design. It was the ultimate sacrifice of form for the sake of function, proving that in the world of the Type H, the cargo always came first. Across the cobblestones of France, the Type H earned a duality of reputations. It was both the neighborhood hero and the face of the law. To the morning riser, the low-frequency rumble of its engine meant the baker had arrived with fresh baguettes, using the van's massive side hatch as a mobile storefront. But to the rowdy crowds of Paris, a gray or blue Type H patrolling the boulevards commanded instant, wary respect. This version was famously nicknamed the panier à salade, or salad basket, because of the wire mesh over the windows that resembled the baskets used to dry lettuce. It served as the mobile headquarters for the French gendarmerie, a corrugated fortress that was as much a part of the urban landscape as the Eiffel Tower itself. Whether it was delivering lace or detaining suspects, this van was the undisputed theater of daily French life. The true genius of the Type H lay in its modular design, which allowed it to become almost anything a customer could imagine. Because the engine and drivetrain were entirely self-contained in the front nose, coach builders could chop off the back and build whatever they wanted. This flexibility turned the corrugated box into a high-roofed ambulance, a double-decker horse box, and even a refrigerated meat truck for the local butcher. It wasn't just a van, it was a blank canvas of steel that catered to everyone from high-ranking government officials to humble lavender farmers. Even the first wave of post-war holidaymakers found a friend in the Type H, transforming it into some of the world's earliest luxury campers. It was a reliable partner that never complained, as long as you provided a bit of oil and a steady hand on the wheel. By the late 1970s, the slow, rhythmic pace of the European countryside was accelerating into the era of the high-speed autoroute. The Type H, once a symbol of progress, was now a prisoner of its own aerodynamics, which were roughly equivalent to a brick. Its modest 1.9-liter engine struggled to keep pace with modern traffic, and its deafening cabin became a relic of a simpler time. In December 1981, after 34 years and nearly 500,000 units, the final Pignose rolled off the assembly line at the Javel plant. It was replaced by the Citroën C25, a modern van that was undoubtedly safer and faster, but also utterly, heartbreakingly anonymous. For the next 2 decades, the legendary Type H would be relegated to the back of farm sheds, slowly sinking into the mud of orchards. For years, the Type H was seen as nothing more than an eyesore, a rusted relic of a primitive time before air conditioning and power steering. Thousands were sent to the scrap heap and crushed into cubes of recycled metal, their stories seemingly erased by the march of progress. But then, something strange happened in the world of high-end design and street food culture. What was once mocked as ugly, the exposed rivets, the harsh ridges, and that blunt nose, was suddenly admired as a masterpiece of industrial art. Today, meticulous restorations of these vans are fetching astronomical prices, serving as the ultimate status symbol for gourmet food trucks and luxury brands. The corrugated box that was once left to rot in orchards has returned as an immortal icon, proving that real utility never actually goes out of fashion. The Citroën Type H remains a masterclass in the idea that form should always follow function. It wasn't built to win beauty pageants, it was built to win the struggle of daily life, and it did so for over 3 decades. Today, its silhouette is more recognizable than almost any supercar from the same era, proving that utility is the ultimate form of immortality. It reminds us that while style might catch the eye, it's the rugged, honest tools that actually build history. Perhaps the most surprising truth is that in our modern search for perfection, the world has finally realized that an ugly, corrugated box has more soul than 1,000 miles of sleek, expensive chrome.